Good morning. This is Pastor Laura Cavendish. Um, my husband wore this the other day. It is his T-shirt, and it's Monday, and there's a lot on the agenda, and yet I don't see too many people officially, except for here. So I'm sharing his T-shirt. It's a T-shirt he has through some clown association that he is a part of. Um, it's too bad clowns get this horror rap, and actually they are pretty fun people encouraging us to play and not take ourselves so seriously. And that can be a holy thing when we are so serious about ourselves that we have put ourselves at the center. So that is the benefit of play. We are continuing in our Book of Faith Lenten Journey, Marks of the Christian by David L. Miller. And we are on day 5, discernment. So we have been diving very carefully into Romans 12, 1 through 3a, and we are going through it half verses at a time. Today we are in that verse 2. Do not be conformed by this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your minds, so that you may discern what is the will of God, what is good and acceptable and perfect. So here is that devotion. He always starts kind of with, well, he often starts and has a conversation with God, or his own personal. He gives us a glimpse into his space. Today he begins, "You are not a good gambler, my Lord, by taking an awful chance on us, letting us discern what your will is, what is good and perfect. You bet the farm on a pair of 4s, a poor bet. What do we know of perfection? And we grossly exaggerate our ability to know the good, to say nothing of our desire to do. But you know what we are and what we are capable of doing. It's there in the daily news, growing more personal and petty when we consider the self-serving, pragmatic impulses that move and motivate much of daily living. We are bound and determined to ease our way and make ourselves look good, or at least acceptable. Still, you invite us to discern what is good. Despite our narcissism and perplexity, you leave us to find your will. Well, not quite. You pour the spirit of your life into our little lives, expanding narrow souls with the presence of a love nothing can contain. The love that fills every corner of the great soul of Christ dwells also in us. Listen to that spirit, you say. It's in you, too. Listen to my love, loving you. Listen to what makes for peace and shows patience. Listen for what is kind and generous. Listen for what gentles your soul and the lives of others. Listen to the love that frees you from narrow self-concern. Listen to the love that awakens desire of exquisite beauty. Listen, and you will know what is good, acceptable, and perfect. Even now, the seed of my will pushes through the rocky soil of your soul. I see, my Lord, your will is not an external rule bearing down on me, dictating the good. It is the internal invitation to love. It is your loving spirit poured into our narrow narcissistic hearts, making all things new, even me. So teach me to listen. If I was at home listening to this, I would listen to that again. Part of me wants to read it again. To read it again. Biblical wisdom from Ephesians 3:18 through 19 is our next gift for us. I pray that you may have the power to comprehend and to know the love of Christ that surpasses knowledge, so that you may be filled with all the fullness of God. And here is a thought for us, and this comes to us from this is from Martin Luther in his writing Mater Ma, which is a Latin thing. I'm not good at that kind of stuff. And so we are all filled with, quote, all the fullness of God. We are filled with God, and he pours into us all his gifts and grace and fills us with his spirit. His life lives in us. Put briefly, he fills us in order that everything he is and everything he can do might be in us in all its fullness. All right, questions to ponder. How can you listen for Christ's love in your life? How do your fears narrow your heart, your vision, and concern? What risks has God taken on you? That's one I will have to spend time with. What risks has God taken on you? Whenever we know we have been called on to bear the love of Christ in a situation and be that representative, it's a risk. What if we don't do all God meant for us to do? So it is one of those things that says, oh, God, fill me. That's all we can do. We can say, just be present. Okay, from Psalm 51:6. And remember, we used Psalm 51 the other night for Ash Wednesday. You desire truth in the inward being. Therefore, teach me wisdom in my secret heart. Okay, some of you are journaling. I am working on journaling in a couple areas this season. So I sometimes go back and forth in my days of focus. God's will comes not as an external rule, but as an internal invitation. That was one of the things he said. What memories, thoughts, and feelings does this awaken? So that's for journaling. When have you felt filled with the fullness of God? And how does this change you, those kind of memories of that? And then the last one, and especially if some of you journal about your day, listen to your day. How is God speaking to and in you? Just being aware of the discernment that is seeking to be known to you, and things you read and things you listen to and the people you encounter. How is God speaking to and in you? And here's our prayer. It's a prayer for the Spirit. Fill me with your gracious Spirit, that I may know the mind of Christ, who is all good and all grace. Amen. All right. Peace be with you this day. And I may see you back tomorrow. I hope I do. I will be here. And remember, if you would like to comment, you are more than welcome to. You have to be a subscriber to comment. So, where you see that subscribe button, go ahead and do that. And that allows us to know that the people who are here are really invested in being here. So, that I don't know if that helps you or whether this is not one of those forums where you like to share. So, it's all up to you. It's one of those things that you just set out there and risk. All right, we will see you. Remember the red nose for the day. Look for things that make you smile, and you can trust that that is a grace-filled thing. All right.